This is actually happening. This is actually happening. There is actually not just progress in Rent-A-Girlfriend, but Kazuya is literally about to do the thing. Something is rising, and it is not the shield hero. To add emphasis to this, look at what's on the floor there. Bro. 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 This is actually happening. I never expected that Rent-A-Girlfriend would actually have this type of progress. But here we are. We actually have something like this happening. Well, let's talk about it. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this was not the route I expected. And you know what's even crazier? The final page. So we need to really just talk about this bombshell first off. So Ruka pretty much says to Kazuya that I'm okay with being second. And to give context here, for those that don't read Rent-A-Girlfriend, pretty much she's saying it's okay if you like Chizuru, you want to be with Chizuru, you want to wife her up or whatever, I'm fine with being second. And just the statement of that, the context and the reality of that is insane. Like, there's just so much to unbox from that statement alone. But she more or less is admitting that she is probably always going to be second. But also, she's like, I'm fine with being that as long as if I can basically be with you and we could do the deed together. And I'm just like, this series is never going to escape the cuck allegations, the NTR. For those that don't know, there is literally an infamous moment a long time ago that really permanently damaged the reputation of Rent-A-Girlfriend, where Kazuya was in a pool, if you know, you know. And then eventually there was a scene as well with Chizuru. And knowing how this offer has been, and what we have seen already thanks to, like, Kazuya's delusions and stuff, I would honestly not be surprised is if she does become his, like, second. I would not even be surprised. But let's go on a limb here, and let's talk about the reality of the situation on what is most likely going to happen here. There's only two outcomes. Literally only two outcomes right now that has been presented. In this chapter, Kazuya even directly points out to Ruka that he loves Mizuhara. He wants to be with her, which is what prompted this at the end. He pretty much denies her. He doesn't want to be in a full-blown relationship with her, fully committed to her and everything like that. He wanted to break it off. Obviously, she rejected that notion, and then they got to this point. And now, at this point in the story, there is only two things that can happen. He either outright just gets up, walks away, and is done with it. He just leaves the room and he just doesn't say anything. Or they initiate and they get intimate with each other. That is the only two outcomes of this situation. And obviously, the easy route is to assume he's going to get up and leave. But with the situation and the way everything's been progressing ever since the MC got his haircut, and it's the self-insert from basically the offer, I would not be surprised if it goes forward and goes into the option B of them doing the deed, so to speak. And I'm just gonna say, if that happens, there is just so many wild cards to put on, at display here, like where the story could go, because obviously the story would get extremely complicated. I mean, his relationship with Chizuru would just, oh my goodness, like what would even happen there? But if he was to theoretically get her pregnant, oh my goodness. I mean, we have the whole aspect of protection. You literally even see it on the floor in the chapter. So it's very obvious that that is the thought process of the author as well, while drawing these chapters and writing the chapters. So what if theoretically something happened and she did get pregnant? We might actually have a School Days situation. If you have ever watched School Days, you know how that ended. And that actually could theoretically happen. Like, what if we're about to see School Days 2.0 in 2025? Like, you realize how insane that would be? Dude, if Kazuya goes through with this, masterpiece. Absolute chaos and masterpiece. Like, I would actually forgive everything for Rent-A-Girlfriend. I would actually forgive it, because the dumpster fire, the chaos that would happen thanks to this is just some peak. And I also want to say something. Obviously, it's very clear the author is self-inserting, okay? I think that the shamelessness is there, but it's so shameless that I admire it. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of admire it, the self-insert to this point, to where everything is now going right for Kazuya. I cannot help but respect and admire the author for that, because there comes a point where you become so shameless, you just can't help but be like, you know what? Good for you, man. Good for you. But, with that being said, Rent-A-Girlfriend is actually going down a crazy route. I think the author really took to heart what people were saying about a month ago. For those that don't know, there was a viral post on Twitter where the author of Rent-A-Girlfriend actually responded. People were complaining about the series length of how it was over 400 chapters, and it was basically the same length as, like, Dragon Ball's manga run. And people were like, how is this series that's just a rom-com slice of life, how does it have basically the same amount of chapter and volume length as Dragon Ball? And there was a lot of people upset in Japan talking about this. Like, it wasn't like the West talking about, people in, you know, America or Europe or whatever talking about Rent-A-Girlfriend. It was actually the Japanese audience complaining about Rent-A-Girlfriend. And the author did respond to that. I wonder if, because of that response and the viral nature of that post, is what sparked this sudden shift in the narrative, the changes that are going on to really engage readers and just get more crazy drama that we haven't really, like this crazy drama that's going on right now. Like, I honestly wonder if that's what kind of sparked this. I could be wrong, but still, fascinating. There's not really much more I want to say. Read the chapter yourself. It's insane. It's actually an insane chapter. The question now is will Kazuya turn her down and get up and fully break it off with Ruka, or will she actually become his second? We will see. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.